When I say the word money, what comes to your mind? Is it something that excites you? Is it something that scares you? Is it something that you're a little trepidatious about? You see, all of us have a relationship with money. And it's that relationship that often defines the level of success that we are open to. This is what we're talking about today on Women Winning Their Way. I am bringing in money mindset coach Kim McNaughton, and she is going to talk with us about how we can start to assess and identify our feelings towards money and how we can learn to amplify that to open us up to even more abundance and also learn how to communicate with those closest to us. So stay tuned because we're going to get you set right with how you view money. I'm Clara Capano, and this is Women Winning Their Way. Here at Women Winning Their Way, we talk about the importance of self-care. With it being open enrollment for health insurance, we have partnered with Leela Smith, the owner of Etta and Associates, who is licensed in over 30 states, to make sure that all of us have the best coverage for ourselves and our families. I've been a client of Etta and Associates for over 2 years, and I feel 1,000% confident that I'm covered for all of my basic needs, along with any unexpected surprises. Your health matters, so make sure that you are covered. Call or text Leela's team today and set yourself up with a free consultation to review your coverage options and to ensure that you and your business are protected. So, Kim McNaughton, welcome to Women Winning Their Way. How are you today?
Thank you. Doing great. So glad to be here, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, we've been friends for a long time, and I've been waiting for the perfect moment to bring you on. And with so many things going on right now in the world, now is the time. So I appreciate you making time to share your genius with the world.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So as we dive in, the whole concept of the show, Women Winning Their Way, is talking about how as women, we don't have to live in a box. We don't have to live by others' guidelines and standards. So when I talk about winning your way and being successful on your terms, what does that even mean to you when I say that?
Yeah. So what that means to me is really, since I've been doing a lot of personal work over the last 6 years, and you were kind of a catalyst for that. We can talk about that in a little bit. But, winning my way is really about having that internal sense of safety, internal sense of self-worth, the like connection with other people, that fulfillment, that meaningful work. And so, as long as I feel like I'm contributing either, in work or to my family in a meaningful way that's fulfilling to me, then I feel like I've succeeded.
I love that. Fantastic. That's so good. I want to backtrack into the first word that you talked about, which is safety. You are doing a lot with money mindfulness and coaching people through their relationship with money. When you say that word, feeling safe, I know that I went through a lot of this too. And I think one of the reasons that so many of us do not venture out and sort of take that leap and create success is because we don't feel safe. And we don't feel safe because we don't have money set aside. And for some reason, we often correlate safety and money together. And I would love to ask you, as a money mindfulness coach, talk to me a little bit about, the stories that we have around money and how that can play a big part in our ability to achieve or not achieve success.
Yeah. So you're right. No amount of money is ever going to make you feel secure, safe, free, abundant, because that's really only accessed from within. And also, making more money doesn't make you happy. Like, once your basic needs are met, more money doesn't really increase your internal happiness. And so that internal work, that is done separately. It's kind of standalone. Making more money and keeping it does give you more choices. It's having, more choice and a greater sense of agency that leads to more happiness. But you're right. Like, the money itself is not the thing that makes you more happy. And I think the important part of what I really focus on is growing that internally for yourself. And then money is just the outward reflection of how you're doing with that internally.
Yeah. And I just feel so many people have either sort of like a scarcity mindset around money or an
Mhm.
abundant mindset. Some people are like, I have to hold it all because there's only a finite amount. And then there's other ones that are like, I'll
Mhm.
make more.
Yeah,
And I think
totally.
that, that can really show up in their also their risk tolerance to take, greater risks and take that leap of faith.
Right. Yeah. So
Mm.
that's the most common one, I think, is the scarcity mentality. That's kind of like this money block, this mindset block. And, there's never enough to go around. And what we work on doing is flipping that. So there's infinite abundance available to me in every moment. I am the creator of my own reality. Like, I always have enough. And,
Mhm.
a lot of getting those core qualities that we talked about before, safety, self-worth, self-esteem, respect, getting those aligned first really helps with doing the rewiring of those money blocks.
Yeah, for sure. So, how did you even get into doing this kind of work? Because ever since I've known you, I would say from the outside looking in, you always looked very fiscally responsible. And
Yeah, so I think, yeah, I met you 20 years ago, right? We were both single moms and two toddlers at the time. And I've always had a corporate job, and I know you've been in that space as well. And I got to the point where, my basic needs were met, but things were always pretty tight. But then in 2018, I had this corporate job, and it was really unfulfilling. I didn't feel like I was doing meaningful work. I was very bored. And then I got a new job within the same company, but a new job, whole new organization. And I was so excited because I thought, oh, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. And then 6 months later, I realized I'm in the same place because I brought that same unfulfilled mindset with me. And I had the same result, right? Bored, meaningless work. And so that's when I finally decided to take your advice. Hey, you would be a great coach, you said. And and I went
I
through
was
this year
right. Well,
long, yeah,
mhm.
I went through this year-long coach certification program. And I thought I was doing it to help other people, but really it had the most impact for me. And that's when I really began to understand the power of mindset. And I know this is one of your spaces as well. And really started focusing on the abundance in my life. And then unexpectedly, my job shifted and I was just getting better projects. I had more visibility. I could really see and feel my impact. I started
Mhm.
getting raises, bonuses, stock options, and really doing all of that personal development work. It started rewiring from the inside out, and it just shifted my life in so many ways. And then I did actually, start doing some business coaching. And as I was diving into that with clients, I just realized that their relationship with money may have been unhealthy for some reason. Like they might not have had, they, like we were talking about the scarcity mindset, they might have grown up with limited resources, or maybe they had deep seated beliefs
Mhm.
that they didn't deserve wealth or success. And I could just see how that was impacting their business. So that's when I dove into like I've gone through so many money mindset coaching programs. I got certified in one, and then that's what I've been doing now.
Yeah. So I want to kind of pick a little bit of that apart. You talk about these unhealthy relationships with money.
Hmm.
And, I would love to maybe, you talk about this idea that some people don't feel that they're worth it, so the money either doesn't come to them or when it comes to them, they quickly go through it because they have this mindset that they're not worth it. Tell me a
Right.
little bit more about that. Where does something like that come from? Because for me, that is so outside my peripheral. I couldn't understand, not feeling that I was, worthy of it. Although I feel unworthy in other areas, but that's for
Mhm.
another show. But I would love to understand, like, where do some of these mindsets around money come from?
So a lot of that imprinting is done. I think from 0 to 7 is when a lot of our imprinting is done on our nervous system from our childhood experiences, the parents that raise us, close aunts and uncles, friends. You get into, classmates and comparing yourself with other classmates. And so there's these, perceptions that maybe you don't deserve the success you have achieved, or maybe you start to feel like, oh, people will find out I'm not as competent as they think I am. And there are these different interpretations of circumstances in our world and in our life that then translate into, these thoughts, which then, if we think them over and over, become beliefs, right? So it's really the input that we have received and how we interpret them.
Mhm. It's so interesting. And, I want to ask you, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. So, see if you can do a
Mhm,
little coaching here. So, you know me, you know my family. And in my
mhm,
family, there's four children. I'm the
mhm,
youngest. So, of course, my
mhm.
parents finally achieved perfection so they could stop with me. And, it's amazing to see that all four of us view money so differently. Um,
Yes.
some of us are very responsible for our money, and others are not so much. So it can't just be the household because we all were raised with the same parents, with the
Yeah.
same avenues. So how is it that we all have such different views on money? We have
Yeah.
one that is very scarcity mindset, and as they are getting older, I notice that their scarcity mindset is getting more and more. And I
Mm.
know she's listening, so she will know this. My other sister, again, is a little bit more free willing and, kind of likes to have pretty things and doesn't really
Mhm.
look at that. And then, I am like, gotta save. So even though I say I have no money, I always have money squirreled away. And for me, it's more of a freedom thing.
Mhm.
My whole
Mhm.
thing is, I want to be able to take care of myself. I don't want to be dependent on someone else. And I just think that it's really fascinating that all of us have these different views.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I totally jump into that, I did want to say that absolutely everyone has what it takes to be good with money because it's a learned action. And
Mhm.
it's never too late to learn how money works and how to have a healthy relationship with money and how to build wealth. Because, there's definitely some examples out there like, Judge Judy, I think, started her show at the age of 54. We have Louise Hay, she started Hay House at the age of 62. And so, everybody does have what it's but what you're talking about is kind of like that money personality.
Mm.
And again, that's the interpretation of our experiences around us and what that means to us. And I heard recently, and I see this is true for myself and my family, that yeah, we were raised in the same household with the same parents, but we were born into our parents' lives at different times in their lives where they had different emotional availability
Ah,
or their own level of maturity and what they were teaching at the time. And so at as the end, it could be argued, as the fourth, that you got the best of your parents. They were a little more mature probably by the time you came along. They had experience with the other three.
mhm.
And you might have gotten more of what they had to give, or they could have been more busy in their careers and maybe you didn't. It's hard to say, right? So my point is though that there are just, even though we have same family, same households, the parents are in different stages of their life and development.
Very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never really thought about that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I love the idea that this is learned and that people, again, and I almost think of it like emotional intelligence. This is a skill set that can
Mm.
be built on. And I
Yeah.
also think that it could be a blessing and a curse. I do
Mhm.
think sometimes I am so responsible almost to a fault
Mhm.
that I can miss opportunities. Such
Mm.
as one of the things that I know has been a misstep in my business is investing in the growth of my business. I'm like,
Mm.
oh, I don't want to pay somebody this much money. I'll just do it myself. Well, that
Mhm.
can hinder my growth. So, what are some things that you would recommend to the people that are following the show, to kind of maybe get a pulse point and just even start the process of
Yeah.
assessing maybe where they are and starting to ask questions about how they can move forward and maybe change some of the dynamics.
Yeah, so you're right. Bringing awareness to what your mindset block is around money is going to really mirror back to you where your greatest opportunity for growth lies.
Mhm.
And this work isn't really a one and done situation. It's a continuing evolution because as we find and kind of rewire one unhelpful belief, another one arises to the surface to be addressed. And it's kind of like, oh, I didn't see you there before, right?
Yeah.
There you are. Let's explore this one now. And then you start asking, you know, the questions that I would ask would be, is this helpful for me in my life today? Once you become aware of it. And is this helping me take right action? And another question is this even true? Right. So you have these beliefs, and when you say them out loud, you go, oh my gosh, that sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, but it's a tape that's playing over and over in your head. Right. And there are two other questions that are really good with that. It's who would I be without this belief? And what would I be able to do, be, or have without this belief? So that's where I, would start with it.
I love that last one. What would I be able to do, be, or have? That's incredible. So
Yeah.
let's bring it back to again our mindfulness around money, making it, building it, generating it. And again, as it ties to success, you brought in this concept that once you connected with it, you had more abundance. The raises started coming in. I would love to talk about a little bit more, like what are some of the other benefits of getting more mindful? Because again, money mindfulness just doesn't mean that, oh, I put X amount of dollars into my savings account and I have my portfolio. I mean, it's much deeper than that.
Yeah. So other ways that it impacts your life, you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it helps when you start to bring awareness to that in your life. It's just increasing you to have a healthier level of self awareness in general.
Mhm.
And so a lot of these tools can be applied to, partnerships, relationships, business. It's just not about money. We use money as the tool or the vehicle as the outward reflection of how
Mhm.
we're doing internally. But to have those, that healthy self awareness, you're learning your patterns, your beliefs, your thoughts, and the ones that may have worked for you in the past, they could be holding you back today. And to really make the leaps that you want to make in your life, you just can't keep operating under the same patterns and beliefs and expect to move forward into your next season of growth. But it really does impact, once you start doing the internal work, you'll see that it ripples and reflects into many areas
Yeah.
of your life.
Kind of going back to this idea of safety. And again, money brings safety. So it almost seems to me like if I could learn how to be more mindful and be more aware of the programs and the beliefs, it's
Mhm.
going to help to create that, I'll call it illusion of safety. And then I would have more confidence in other areas of my life. Do you feel like that's sort of on the
Yeah.
right path?
Yes, because sometimes people don't even feel safe enough to receive money, to receive love, to receive raises or bonuses or acknowledgement from even acknowledgement or praise, right?
Mhm.
So with the safety, it's like feeling safe to receive. And so if you really, that is the number one core quality that we start with is safety inside. And to look inward for that and not to look external for it in those other things, because then you're relying on other people,
Mhm.
resources to
Yeah.
feel safe. But if you can really dial that in and create that for yourself internally first, then it allows for all of those things to come to you.
Yeah. One of the other things I want to go back to is you talked about doing work that was meaningful and again
Mhm.
impacting lives. And I see our relationship with money also having a ripple effect. And again, that could be positive or negative
Mhm.
because thinking about being a role model, the way that I view money is going to impact my child or
Mhm.
impact the people around me. So I would think that, getting a more positive connection with it, it's going to, again, have that ripple effect. Have you seen that in any of your inner circles of how maybe it's been able to impact people closest to you?
Yes. I mean, you bring up your son, that's where I see it the most obviously for me, right?
Mhm.
And just the projects he's working on and his respect for money and it's just little things like the way he keeps his money in his wallet. It's organized, they're all facing the same way. It's the 20s, the 10s, the fives, right? It's organized that way. And sometimes I think when we're in a rush, we can just get our change, throw it in the bottom of the purse and keep on going. And, so just the way that we respect money, even in those little instances and those experiences that really impacts how it shows up back for us as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, that's where I see it.
Yeah. Now, did you see a transition with him, like from how he maybe had a relationship with money when he was, 10, 12, just sort of getting the allowance to versus now where he's, oh my God, 21,
Yeah,
20 now, almost 21?
yeah. Yeah. And I made some mistakes along the way, right? So I remember we had a neighbor who was looking for some help with dog walking and they were selling their house. So when they had showings, they needed the dog to be walked. It was summer. So I volunteered him for that job. I think he was 13 or 14.
Isn't
And
it nice how we as moms volunteer our children for these opportunities?
yes.
I've done a
And
few of that too.
yeah. And I remember thinking, oh, well, it's a neighbor. I told him it's a neighbor. We probably shouldn't charge for it. Like just do it for the experience and see if you'd want to be a dog walker at some point. And I shouldn't have done that because that was devaluing the
Mm,
service that he was providing to our neighbor, even though we knew them.
right.
And so so at the end, she did give him some money, for the couple weeks that it was before, when that worked out. And so I'm glad that he got that, but that wasn't like a great way to model to him on
Mhm.
how to respect yourself and be able to receive. So I was kind of putting some of my limiting beliefs on him
Mhm.
that way.
Yeah.
But he's been pretty conservative with his money. He'll go out to dinner with his friends and it's water all day long. Mom, they paid $5 for a Coca-Cola. Right. So
Mhm.
that's his innate personality
Yeah.
around money, because we all have different personalities around that.
Yeah.
So
Do you know that less than 75% of people do not get enough sleep? I know for years that this was something I struggled with. I would fall into bed exhausted, only to then toss and turn all night long and wake up feeling unrested. Sleep is critical to our health, well being, and productivity. I am so excited to partner with Lisa Gibb and Sam V, who have crafted the perfect night's sleep. We cannot walk around like sleep zombies the next day. Lisa and her team at Sam V understand this. And with over 40 years of quality craftsmanship, Samvi sheet sets are designed to create a perfect environment to offer you a restful night's sleep. They use the highest quality fabrics and they have products that focus on temperature regulation. Ladies, you know what I mean about that. With their products that include mattress enhancers to sheet sets, lots of different kinds of unique pillows, comforters, blankets, and more. They literally have you covered and ready for a quality night's sleep. All the products with Somv will wrap you in luxury each and every night. The people at Somv are committed to one thing: a quality night's sleep. So connect with Lisa Gibb, your personal sleep consultant, and build your personal and luxury sleep package today. Connect with Lisa at www.lisagibb.somnvie.com. Invest in your rest with Somv today. I would love to ask your opinion on when you're in a tight circle. So I'm going to use the example of a relationship with two significant others.
mhm.
One has one money mindset and the other has another. So one maybe again has one where they don't aren't worthy of money, or again they spend much more, and then you have the other one who's again more conservative,
Mhm.
and more, those can clash. So how can
Mhm.
people communicate their
Yeah.
belief systems like in a positive way so that they can get on the same page?
Right. So if you are really aware of what your money personality is, what your blocks are, because with each money personality, there are strengths and then there are challenges. And so if you can see where you're being challenged within your personality, just having open communication around that.
Mhm.
Like I think your example was, what was your example? Like someone spending more, but they see the value in what they're buying and they're okay to spend the money, where someone else
Mhm.
might say, think of investing in a
Right.
course or something as spending money instead of investing money, right? And so just having those open conversations, but it starts with the awareness of why you're feeling that way, why you're feeling resistance, why you are judging the other person for the way that they are with money,
Mhm.
and really getting neutral around it, and then just having those conversations from a place of neutrality.
Yeah, I love it. That's so good. Communication is really just everything, and we can't really have the communication until we are aware. Now,
Mhm.
you mentioned these ideas of these different money personalities, and I know we don't have time to go into all of them today.
Yeah.
Can you maybe give us an example of just one or two and just some of the basic characteristics, so people can, understand it? Because I know that when you work with your people one on one, this is something you spend a great deal of time in, is going
Mhm.
setting them through the assessment and helping them. But maybe give us an example of what a
Yeah.
money personality even is.
Well, I'll go with the ruler, right? So I work with the 8 sacred money archetypes, and the ruler is, I think you and I both have ruler in our top 3.
Mhm.
We like have that inner fire and drive to create, something that we're really passionate about and make a big impact for others, and also make significant income around it. So it's like you're kind of naturally ambitious.
Mhm.
You're naturally ambitious and a little bit determined, and but sometimes that drive and ambition can cause you to feel dissatisfied with where you are. So no matter what your past successes are or what they have been, you just keep driving and driving and can be really hard on yourself. So that's kind of the flip side of the
Mhm.
ruler.
Yeah.
And they won't necessarily show up showy like the celebrity archetype. They'll spend money on things that show their status. That's not really
Mhm.
important to the ruler.
Right.
But the ruler also has a challenge to create harmony in their life instead of letting their business or career kind of dominate all of their
Mhm.
time and attention. And so
Yeah.
as a ruler, you get to learn how to relax into the moment and enjoy life.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
one of the things that I've learned over, the years, and also because I'm in a different stage of my life,
Hmm.
is, whereas money was, a
Hmm.
means to an end, it was putting food on the table as a single mom, now
Hmm.
it is more about legacy. It's about,
Yeah.
giving back. And for me, I don't want more stuff. I want experiences. So, it's
Yeah.
kind of, I can see, I'll just call it a maturing of my,
Hmm.
relationship with money and how it's changing, because again, the experiences, spending time with people, even going out, I would rather spend $18 on a great glass of wine than $8 and have several glasses of wine. It's like it's the quality of the moment that's counting for me, and that's what I like to invest my money into right now, as
Yeah,
far as experience.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are people who are connectors and they use their money to connect and they're more about the relationship. There
Mhm.
are people who are nurturers and they like to take care of others. There's the maverick, the one who is like the inner rebel with a cause, and they like risk, and risk is essential for them.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's lots of
All
different
those
ways that
different
people
ones.
show up with their money.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So,
Hmm.
Kim, I know that this is something that you are extremely passionate about, and you are really out there to help people with this, because again,
Hmm.
when we start to connect with our beliefs around money, it just unlocks so much that we can build into our own success. So, what are some of the things you're working on now?
Yeah. So right now I have a one-on-one coaching program, and it's a 12-week program, and we go through different modules. It's, one-on-one. It's really curated to you. We find out in the very beginning, what is your money personality? What are your challenges? I do work with entrepreneurs and emerging entrepreneurs. So part of this is in their business, helping them recognize the personalities of their clients or the people that they're working with, so that they can really speak to that person, right, and work well with that person from their money personality, so they get to understand what drives them.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. I'm also working on putting together sort of a shorter group program that would probably be 6 to 8 weeks or so. So that'll be ready in the fall, and that's what I have going on.
That's so fantastic. Well, Kim, again, it's always good to see you, because you are one of my best friends, and we've spent a
Yes.
lot of time when it comes to the business perspective. You've always been in my corner, and I have so much gratitude. I learned so much from you, and just so much love for you, and watching you, grow, and watching you do these things. It always inspires me to level up my game. So the last question I have for you is, sitting where you are today,
Mhm.
how do you define success for yourself now?
Thank you. Well, I want to just reflect back those same sentiments. You're one of my biggest cheerleaders, and the work you're doing is amazing. And you are a light in the world. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, how do I define success today? I mean, really, it goes back to that internal personal development piece, and just having really dialed in that power and control, and connecting with other people, and making sure I'm in my creative flow, and feeling abundant and feeling joy, having that self respect, self worth, that safety. As long as all of that is really aligned for me, then I feel successful. That just ripples out. Yeah.
I love that. Great. Well, thanks again, Kim. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Take care.
Well, everyone, I really hope that you took some good notes on that one. We have the saying out there, money makes the world go round. Well, we want to make sure that it's going round in the way that we want it to go round for us. So some of the things that I really connected with that Kim talked about is this idea that we can learn. Our relationship with money is going to change, and we have to again learn where it's coming from and start to assess it so that we can build upon it. Money is never going to bring you happiness. Yet it can connect with you. It can connect you with your dreams. It can help you feel more safe so that you're out there willing to take on those new challenges and those risks, such as maybe starting your own business or leaving a job that is not fulfilling you. So, again, it can really create a lot of these dynamics. Remember, communicating it, not only communicating it with yourself, communicating it with those that are nearest to you, because we might have to be working with them. I love when she talked about the fact that she coaches her clients, not just on their personal relationships, but how to work with their clients, because a lot of us following the show are in some types of sales and people are spending money. So being able to connect with them on those. I love the questions. Is this helping me? Oh my God. When we look at where we are spending, investing our money, asking, is this helping me? Is this moving me towards my goal, towards the vision, or is it holding me back? And then the other question, what would I be and what would I be able to do, be, have, create without this? I just think so many of the opportunities that I've missed have been because I was afraid to invest the money. I was afraid to invest it in the growth of my business, afraid to invest it in hiring somebody, afraid to get a coach early on. All of those things were investments in me. And we have to remember that if we want to be the best version of ourselves, we have to invest in ourselves. And that means fun things too, such as vacations, such as clothing, such as getting your hair done. All of those things are investments in you because they are helping you to connect with your true and authentic self. So pay attention to how you are relating to your money, because when we are looking to achieve success and to do it on our terms, a lot of it comes into how we are going to be abundant or possibly see the scarcity on the side of money and how we interact with it. So I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I really encourage you to go to the platforms, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Spotify, go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Let's share this with at least 5 other women, because we know that everyone has a relationship and we can always improve our relationships. So let's share this episode and make sure that you connect with Kim if you want to learn more about your own relationship with money. I'm Clara Capano, and this is Women Winning Their Way.